Hello everyone. In this video we'll discuss about deadlock prevention. So preventing the deadlock, which means we need to ensure any of the conditions should not be satisfied in the system. So already we discussed there are 4 necessary conditions to be satisfied, and it may lead to deadlock. So if you don't follow all those, at least one of the condition is not satisfied in the system, then we can say we can prevent the deadlock as much as possible, right? So let us see what are all the conditions. First one is mutual exclusion. So we know already, we have discussed much more about this mutual exclusion, which means if there are two processes and which are nothing, it wants to communicate in between them. So or else if both the process wants to share any common data, then the OS must grant the process to be executed only with the exclusive access of that particular resources or any of the common data which is want to share, right? So if one of the process is using that particular resources at that time, other process must not use that resource. This is what mutual exclusion. In other words, we can say if the resources are in non-shareable mode, this particular condition will be satisfied. And if it may leads to deadlock means, so what we have to do to prevent the deadlock, all the resources must be shareable. So we need to change the resources from non-shareable to shareable mode. If the resources are shareable, then we cannot give any exclusive access of resources to any of the process. So each and every process will access all the resources at any time, even at the same time, right? So if there are many number of process wants to access one particular resource, and that resources which is of shareable mode means, then it can access at any time, right? So even at the same time, all the process can access that shareable resources. So process will not wait for any of the resources because it is in shareable mode. So we can prevent the deadlock very easily. We can prevent the deadlock by denying this mutual exclusion condition. By denying this mutual exclusion condition. So this is how we can prevent the deadlock. And we are ensuring that the first particular condition will not exist in the system. That is what mutual exclusion will not exist in the system. In this way we can prevent deadlock. But what happens here? We cannot provide the shareable mode for all the resources. There should be at least one of the resources must be in non-shareable mode in the system. Okay, so it is not possible to keep all the resources in shareable mode. So there could be some more number of resources may exist in non-shareable mode, right? And because of that non-shareable mode, we cannot ensure that deadlock will not, we cannot prevent the deadlock in such cases. So that is what it is. Not only by denying this mutual exclusion we can achieve that deadlock prevention, because some of the resources may exist in non-shareable mode. So if it's so, then we can, it is highly impossible to prevent the deadlock. So we will see one example for shareable resources. So if you have the read-only file, so read-only file, which is example for shareable resources, because the file can be read by all the number of processes at the same time, which is possible because we can allow this read access to any number of processes. So this is what the we can deny the mutual exclusion at this case, because this particular resource is in shareable mode. So next one is, but this particular condition cannot exist in mutex or semaphore. We can apply only for the some number of files. We cannot apply this shareable mode on the mutex or the semaphores. It is not possible, right? Next one is hold and wait. Next condition is hold and wait. The meaning for hold and wait is whenever any process requesting in new resources, suppose if it holds some already old resources, okay, if it holds some other resources, it should release it before requesting any new resources. This is what hold and wait. Okay, so first one is we can use two kinds of protocol to prevent the deadlock for to denying this condition. So how can we deny this condition, and in that way how can we prevent the deadlock? Let us see. We are just using two protocols. The first protocol is allocation of resources. So we are just allocating the resources allocation of resources, which means all the resources should be allocated to the particular process whatever it is requesting. If it requests 3 or more resources, all the resources must be allocated. So that is what the first protocol, very first protocol. But what is the condition to be checked? It should not have any other resources already, right? So it should not hold any other resources. That was the condition to be checked there. And if it's so, we can allocate all the number of resources. Second method is, that is second protocol, is allocating resources after the release of holding resources. Second protocol is we need to allocate resources only if it releases all the resources, which means if there is one process and process is requesting some resources, but already it is actually allocated some other resources. So if it is requesting for new resources, so what we should do, we have to make the process to release all the old resources whatever it is allocated already. So only after the releasing of all the resources, then only the new resources can be allocated. So when the new resources can be allocated, if it is already had some resources, all those resources must be released. All those resources must be released. This is what the second protocol. So I will explain these two protocols with an example. Okay, first one, there is one process and that particular process is going to perform one task, that is it is going to copy the content from the drive, some drive to any of the disk. Okay, so it is going to copy the content from the drive to disk and then it is going to print the content whatever it is copied into the disk. Okay, this is what the operation that it needs to perform. So for that, what are all the resources it needs to allocate, which means first, so based on the first protocol, we need to, so what are all the resources it require, which means first one is drive and the next one is disk. On some disk it has to copy that content and afterwards printer. So these three resources it may require, right? So based on the first protocol, so we need to allocate all these three at once, all these three resources at once to a process. So there is one process A, so we are just allocating all these three at once at the beginning of, before performing an operation. So it has to perform this task and afterwards it will release the entire resources. This is what the first protocol. If you follow the second protocol, first it has to allocate only these two. We are not going to allocate all the resources at a time. We are going to allocate only the first two resources, that is drive and disk. So with the help of these two resources, it will copy the content and afterwards, before requesting the printer, it should release these two resources, that is drive and disk must be released, and afterwards it will again request the disk and the printer. So first the drive and the disk will be allocated. Okay, so after performing the after copying the content from drive to disk, it will release these two resources and again it will request disk and the printer. So these two resources will be allocated and afterwards it will print the content whatever the file it has been stored in the disk. So it will be printed with the help of the printer. This is what the second method. So we have disadvantages again with these two protocols because resource utilization will be very low. I hope you can understand the difference between these two methods. And what could be the disadvantages? Disadvantages means resource utilization will be very low because for the very first method, we have allocated all these three resources at once in the beginning itself, right? So at the time, it may need this printer resources only at the end. So after copying the content only, it needs this printer. So till that, this printer resources is not used at all, right? So your resource utilization will be very low in these two methods. Okay, this is what the disadvantage. So if the resource utilization is somewhat low and whatever the resources that were allocated, if it is actually unused for a long period, so this may degrade the system performance also, because all these resources are popularly used by many number of processes. So even at that time, some of the process may need the same resources. It is actually waiting for a long time. Suppose if you use only these two these two, based on the second method, if you use only the first two resources, so at that time it may not need this third resources, that is printer, but at that time it may be allocated to some other because it is a popular requirement of all the process, right? So it may be allocated to some other process, then this particular process will be waiting for a long time for this printer after the releasing of these two processes. So this may happen. So this may leads to again the starvation. This is also another disadvantage. Starvation is possible. So it needs to wait for a long time for any other resources which is popularly used, and it is allocated previously for the process which is not using that resources properly. So this is what the drawback which we are facing in this methods. Okay, but anyways, we can prevent the deadlock if you follow these two kinds of method. Okay. So next condition is no preemption. So how can we deny this condition to prevent the deadlock? No preemption. So the which means if there is one process and the process is requesting resources, but already it has some resources, right? So what we need to do, we should preempt the old resources, whatever it has been allocated already. So it has to release all those resources, and afterwards it can get the new resources. This is what the method which we need to follow for denying this condition, no preemption. Okay. So when this particular thing will be happened, so that is what the condition to be checked here. Resources must be preempted if it requires additional resources. Okay, which means what? If there is one process A, if it needs some resources, let it be R1. Okay, it is actually holding R2 and R3. So these are all the resources which is already allocated to the same process. So now these particular R2 and R3 resources which are required by the process B. Say for example, there is another process B and it is requesting these two resources R2 and R3. So what happens? Only in this case, we have to release these two resources from this allocated process. Okay. So because we need to check whether this particular resources has been allocated already to the process which is waiting for some other resources, If it's so, then we have to release all these resources, and because it is required by some other process, and this will be allocated to this particular process. Okay. So I'll explain you once again. There is one process, and process is requesting some resource. If the resource is available, means we can allocate it. Suppose if the resource is not available, say for example here the process B is requesting for these resources, but the resource is not available because it has been allocated to other process, right? So we need to check to which process it has been allocated. So here in this example, these resources has been allocated to process A, but process A is again waiting for some other resources. If it's so, then we have to release these two resources from the process A, and afterwards we have to allocate to the process B. This is what we can, this is how we can deny this no preemption condition, and we can prevent the deadlock. And the last condition is circular wait. Circular wait is nothing but there are some set of resources that are available, and the process or keep on waiting for the next process in circular manner, which means P1 is waiting for P2, P2 is waiting for P3, and again P3 is waiting for P1. This is what circular wait. How can we deny this condition? So here also we can follow two methods. First one is, there is one resource F, there is one function we need to follow. Resource must be allocated to the process. Okay. So here n is nothing but integer values. So the fourth and final condition is circular wait. So how to deny this condition to prevent the deadlock? So we need to follow the increasing order of allocation as well as the release of the resources. So let us see. We have the set of resources R1 to Rm, and so we need to follow one condition, one function, so which F denotes R tends to n. So n here, n is nothing but the natural integers, some integer value which we are providing for each and every resources. Okay. So here the process may request any number of instances of the same resource type, But whatever it is requesting, if it requires some other additional resources, we need to check whether it is in increasing order. If it is in increasing order, we can allocate the resource, otherwise we should not allocate. This is what the condition to be satisfied here. So let us see. We have the three set of resources. First one is tape drive, and the next one is disk drive, and the next one is printer. So F denotes the number of tape drives, so which means number of instances which we have of that same resource type. So here we have only one, and for the disk drive we have 5, and for printer we have 12. So now if any of the process may require this first resources, that is tape drive, okay, so we are just telling that Ri, because that was the first resources which is required by the process. And suppose if it requires some other resources, let it be a printer, okay, if it is a printer, then it is nothing but Rj. So now we need to check whether Ri is less than Rj. Otherwise we can also check it as Rj is greater than Ri. So which means the additional resources whatever it is requesting, the number of requesting resources must be greater than the previously allocated resources. So it is in increasing order. So this is what the condition to be satisfied. Then in that way we can deny this condition, and we can prevent the deadlock. Second method is while it is releasing the resources, we need to follow some conditions. So the condition to be checked for releasing the resources, which means, so initially it has some resources, and additionally, so if it requires some other resources, and what are all the resources, right? Suppose if it requires initially printer, and if it requires then disk drive, so what could be the printer number of resource, which is 12, so let it be Ri. And the next resources whatever it is located, which is nothing but a disk drive, suppose if it releases the resources, it should be in this order. It should release the resources in this order, which means Rj must be released and afterwards Ri must be released, because the Ri is greater than the Rj. So while it is allocating, we need to check whether it is in increasing order. While it is releasing also, we need to check whether it is in increasing order. So this is how we have to deny this condition, how we are denying this condition, and also how we are preventing the deadlock. So we can avoid the circular wait condition by following these two methods, and we can prevent the deadlock easily. So these are all the some methodologies we need to follow to prevent the deadlock. So in all these methodologies will not be successful in some cases. So we may get disadvantage also because of these methodologies. So even then we can find some solution for preventing the deadlock. Thank you.